Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be showing y'all 5 super beast Cata dungeon farms that you can be doing right now. These dungeons feature pretty good loot and Mog, and with the trial of style going on and people buying up Mog pieces left and right, it only makes sense to share some decent farms. That being said, let's just get right into it. The first farm that I want to talk about is the Dead Mines. This farm is quite literally a classic, as it's from the classic version of the game. This is a quick dungeon, taking only a few minutes to quickly run and reset. Also, since almost all of the mobs in the dungeon are humanoid, there are plenty of greens to go around. Not to mention, with the chance of Defias leather gear dropping, there are definitely some high ticket items that you can get from this instance. If you're concerned about the rate at which the Mog from here will sell, don't worry. There are boxes and chests littered around the instance that you can collect trade goods from so that you can walk away with quick money, even if you don't see immediate sales. The next dungeon I want to talk about is Zuguru. This dungeon provides huge variety with the special named elites scattered throughout the instance. This dungeon is super quick. You can do a huge loop around the instance in just a couple minutes, while collecting your greens and cloth along the way. Some of the greens that drop from here can reach tens of thousands of gold, and while you can only run this instance once per character per day, you can easily leave an alt parked outside the instance and take the few minutes to run this instance every day just for that little bit of extra inventory on your bank. Now the next instance is Grimbatore. This dungeon is a classic gold farm, as it's regarded as one of the best Ember Silk farming locations in the entire game. A run of this farm is super quick, only taking a few minutes, and you're usually looking at over 200 Ember Silk cloth per run of the dungeon. Not to mention, the greens that drop here can be disenchanted for easy money. This is also repeatable, meaning that you can theoretically run this instance 10 times an hour, meaning that you can be filling your bags with over 2,000 Ember Silk cloth per hour under the right circumstances. Now, while this farm may seem great, next one's even better. The Stonecore is a sleeper farm that not a lot of people seem to think about, but it has some decent items as well as a soulbound mount that you can farm while you're farming for gold. I mean, multitasking for the win, am I right? The mobs in the second half of this instance have a chance to drop several BOE blues that auction for around 10,000 to 20,000 gold, with a pretty high drop chance, around 2 to 3%. Also, you'll be getting volatile fires, as well as a decent amount of Ember Silk cloth while you're here, which allows you to make at least some quick money while you wait for the Mog pieces to sell. It's also worth mentioning that this is another quick dungeon that you can hit 10 lockouts on, meaning that you'll be able to chain run this dungeon for hours for the chance of the mount, and also while making pretty decent gold per hour. Now the last dungeon that I want to talk about is an ultra sleeper, since no one has ever made a video about it, and I'm talking about End Time. End Time is by far the most slept on gold farm in the entire game. The dungeon has 2 noteworthy items, the Breastplate of Despair and the Binding of the End Times, which sell for 10,000 and 8,000 gold respectively. Also, with the speed that you can run this instance, it only makes sense why this would be hands down the best Cataclysm dungeon farm in the game. This is one of those farms that none of the other gold farm YouTubers have the courage to tell you about, which only makes sense as that's what they've been making their millions of billions of trillions of gold off this entire time. If I were you, after watching this video to the end so that I can collect my check, I would log into the game immediately and get to farming the End Time on all your alts, because it's only a matter of time before big gold farming takes a step in my direction and attempts to silence the truth. Anyways guys, thanks for watching the video. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and comment how awesome I am and how much you love me. If you didn't like what you saw here today, stand up from your desk, record yourself doing 20 push-ups, and show me a band. Anyways, as always, peace.